Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
Mr. Sandman. You remember Mr. Sandman? You remember the high school kid? Wow, you remember the Covington high school kid wearing the Make America Great Again hat and wearing the smirk? A white young man on a trip to the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. He was standing in front of the Lincoln Monument, standing out in front of the Lincoln Monument and hanging out with his high school friends, and a bunch of blacks and a bunch of Indians converged with all their racist garbage and tried to dump it on the pile of kids on a school trip. You remember? Nick Sandmann, Enter Sandman, remember? So it turns out Mr. Sandman's it's going to be a rich motherfucker. So his lawsuits are all clicking. Clickety click for Mr. Sandman. It's going to make some coin, man. So let's have a look. Looks like he's taking down fucking... Oh my God, he's taking down CNN. Covington High School, student Nick Sandmann gets settlement from CNN. My Negro. After $275 million lawsuit, good chance he didn't get no $275 million. He probably got, maybe $500,000, $750,000 from CNN to settle out. So let's see what it says. Covington High School student Nick Sandmann has reportedly received a settlement from CNN after suing the left-wing network for smearing him last year. Remember how the media spun it? Oh, they're white, they're racist, they're angry white thugs intimidating the poor Indian man. No mention of the radical blacks behind screaming out white honky fucking children of rapists. None of that. Just that the young man was wearing this hat and a smirk. And that was enough for CNN to smear the kid for the rest of his life. So CNN agreed Tuesday to settle a lawsuit with Covington Catholic School student Nick Sandmann. The amount of the settlement was not made public during a hearing at a federal courthouse in Covington. It's likely you'll never hear that number because there's usually gag orders with such things. So, but nonetheless, the kid you'll be able to gauge how much money he made by the first car he buys. I bet it's a Mercedes. I bet he buys a sports car for his first car. Sandmann also filed lawsuits against the Washington Post, NBC Universal, each of the $250 million or more. So he's suing each one of them. It's a good lawyer, man. Whoever's doing this job is great. So there's other stuff down here. So in early February, Sandmann's lawyer released a list of 54 individuals and news organizations that they sent letters to instructing them to preserve evidence for potential lawsuits. So they're potentially suing all these mofos right here. Mostly the Washington Post. They're coming next. New York Times is in there, MSNBC, NBC. It's good stuff, man. You remember? Let's go back. Let's take a walk by memory lane. To be white. To be white is to be discriminated against.
You white people, go back to Europe.
You must bow to the Indian man and the black.
Where you came from. This is not your land. No, it's not. You've been here 2-3 generations.
So who's the instigator? There's the Indian man screaming, "This is not your land. Go back to Europe."
Compared to us, we've been here
The kid's like, what? I don't know. I just see you on a school trip. What the fuck, man?
fucking years. So get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
Let's go all the way back to Africa.
This is called discourse. This is called having a discussion, First Amendment right to free speech on the steps of the Lincoln Monument, the great monument of Lincoln looking out over the water. I know that spot. I've stood in that spot. And this is great. This is great America right here. This shouldn't be frowned upon. This is what makes our country strong. It's our clash of ideas. This shouldn't be something that CNN and MSNBC and the Washington Post smear. They should be like, okay, well, what's going on here? Cover it.
Connected to North America.
This is what they were so angry about. A kid standing up to his rights. The guy is coming out of his face. Oh, well, we already know the story. I get worked up when I see this shit. So anyway.
Bullshit. That's BS theory.
Not bullshit.
BS theory.
Fuck you and your big mouth. So Mark Scotty reporting. It's good news for Nick Sandmann. Mr. Sandmann, you're going to be rich again, my nigga. Mr. Sam, I'm trying to cue it up. Hold on a second. Come on, give me a break.
Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my